Hi, bestie. Welcome back to Girl House. We missed you. This episode, we thought it would be fun to do one on rejection because I've been getting a lot of DMs in the bestie check-ins about people getting ghosted and rejected. And I actually was rejected this weekend. So
it's actually a misunderstanding rejection of sorts.
I was still rejected, just not as harshly as I thought I was rejected.
But yeah, we think it'll be a fun episode. Well, it was very painful at the time.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll make you feel better. And there have been so many times, both painful and what's the word? Comedic?
Yeah. Unfortunately, getting rejected is part of girlhood. And I don't know, it really sucks when it happens, and it really messes with your ego and the way you feel about yourself. But also, we thought it would be fun. I put on the Girl House story, I had you submit your own rejection stories because I know the way I handle things. I personally, one thing that really helps me when I'm going through something uncomfortable or I'm embarrassed or a breakup, I've said this before, but hearing other people's stories makes me feel better about it because I'm like, okay, I'm not the only person this happened to. So hopefully this episode, with the help of the Girl House members and our stories as the Girl House founders, hopefully it will make you feel better if you have been rejected recently. But
I guess we're chairman of sorts.
Yeah,
how
so
fun.
True. But before we get started, I guess we'll get into updates. We went out twice last weekend. We were only going to go out once, but I was heavily rejected. Not as heavy as I thought I was, actually, I guess I'll save my rejection story for, of course, when we get into past the updates. So other updates on my end, I decided I might be taking a break from the surfer skater boy vibe. It clearly is not working out well for me, and you're not going to want to hear this. I don't even want to tell you this, and it makes me uncomfortable.
I'm scared.
But I blame Celia for this.
Oh boy.
I texted Surfer Boy everyone's
I'm like, yeah, this is my fault.
This is really inappropriate, but I texted him one more time because technically I didn't text him back the last time.
It was kind of just like a funny.
It was funny. I mean, my message to him was hilarious. I just said, hey.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't like that funny, but it was kind of just like
it
a
was more
light,
just like
fun thing to do when we were going out.
Yeah, and I was just like, let's see if this guy really doesn't fuck with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And he really doesn't fuck with me. Confirmed. He did not respond. So there's going to be no more.
I have a whole list of guys in my rejection that don't fuck with me. So
yeah, same.
I mean,
same.
It's kind of the topic of the app.
But other than that, I matched with this really cute pro BMXer. And I was like, that is not a surfer or a skater, but of course that's the same type of guy.
I was like, I really appreciate your efforts to get out of the skating surfing community, but I think BMXing is pretty adjacent too.
Yeah. No, I know.
But it is different. I will give you that.
It is different. And my last update, I am hanging out with a guy this weekend, I think. But I don't know if it's going to be like a friend vibe or a flirty vibe. I really won't be able to tell until we hang out.
Do you have a set plan?
No.
Right.
He hasn't texted me back today in the afternoon. So.
Oh, but he did in the morning?
Yes.
Well, that's fabulous.
He did, but it might just be a friend thing. Like, I really don't know what the vibe's going to be, so
I don't think a friend would refer to you in the names that he referred to you.
He texted me this morning and said, "Good morning, sunshine."
Oh.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And to which what you said?
Well, he followed up with many other messages.
But did you call him anything?
Nope, I just said good morning.
Well, I'm very excited for the update next week.
I'm
rooting for this guy personally.
I am too, actually. I don't know what the vibe's gonna be until we hang out, but he just seems like he's not my type at all, really, which I think might be a good thing. And he just seems so kind, and I never go for men who are kind.
Yeah.
So, but I feel weird talking about it because I'm like, I don't know what the actual, I don't know if it's a friend hangout or not.
Well, I guess you'll find out.
Yeah. And it's not even confirmed it's happening this week. I believe it is.
It's definitely happening this weekend. This guy is all up in her texts, but she's being very humble about it.
Well, no, because I feel awkward about the whole situation. I just feel like I don't know how to explain it, but I know people who know this person, and like the thing my head immediately goes to is they're all making fun of me.
Well, that's exactly how you would explain it. Yeah. That is exactly
that's why I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'll go into my updates then.
Yeah, okay.
Today I broke a world record.
Oh yeah.
Well, technically a work record, but it was pretty awesome. Tomorrow, well, no, not tomorrow. Friday's my last day. Tomorrow is the celebration.
Oh yeah, you're going to a pub, huh?
That I am. Well, I think it's a brewery. A brew
What's
pub.
the difference?
No, I'm kidding. It's outside. It's right on the water.
That's the difference between a brewery and a pub.
Oh, a brewery is somewhere that makes or distills beer, I would assume, and a pub just sells it.
Do you?
Okay, we're not doing this right now. Anyway, today was
I really
awesome.
was asking.
That would just be my assumption, but don't quote me on it. And no, I will not be drinking beer.
But then what's a distillery?
Liquor.
Are you sure?
I really pulled that out of nowhere. I don't know. I do believe so though, yeah. Yeah, a distillery is liquor. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, if anyone would like to chime in, I don't know the exact definitions.
Yeah.
Terminology. Anyhow, so yeah, today at work, basically, we'll shoot X amount of pieces in a day, and the record is 200, and today we did 202.
Yeah, that's
the amount of work, like, that was just crazy. We weren't even expecting to do that, but we were at 100 by lunch, and we're like, let's just do 200. It was crazy. So that was awesome. Really going out with a bang there, which I'm really happy now, because now, like, when people are like, oh, what's the record? They'll be like, oh, this is their record.
Yeah, that's epic.
The girl that broke it is gone. But good little legacy to leave. It was just awesome. Anyway, sorry, I'm really excited about it. Aside from that, I don't really have too many updates. I am looking forward to the weekend, and we'll see what we get up to.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about, I mean, it's crazy that this chapter of your life in LA is closing this week.
My life or this chapter?
This chapter, like, you're preparing further and further to leave LA now.
Yeah. I'm actually really looking forward to the next couple months in LA, though, because I'll be working from home. And I feel like I'll just get to, like, do the things that I really love about it here. Like, I'm so excited to go to Pilates all the time, go to our fave places, and, like, spend so much more. I don't have to drive an hour to work every day now.
Yeah, that's epic.
I'm really excited for that. But, yeah, it is also bittersweet. And, like, I'm starting to feel sad. Like, today when everyone kept saying, do it for Celia, like, on set.
Yeah,
to get to the number.
Make me sad.
And, like, everyone was saying that because they obviously know I'm leaving. And then I just kind of realized, like, oh my God, I am leaving, and probably tomorrow at my little get together I will feel sad.
So is this an evening get together or a lunch get together?
Evening.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, actually, someone on my team just texted me who's on set with me tomorrow that she's bringing jeans and a tank to change for the outing. So I will also be bringing an outfit to change.
Are any men attending this?
You know, this was actually an ongoing joke today, and I will not out my coworker, but we all joke about this. Okay, this is TMI because it's not true whatsoever, but, like, we're joking today. What if she showed up with this guy at the outing? Because it would just be hilarious. But no men are invited whatsoever. It's just, like, my immediate team, and then the girls on Forward's immediate team. So, yeah, it'll be great, but very sad. And I think I'm going to do little thank you cards for everyone, but I'm not going to give them to...
Oh, that's so sweet.
But I'm not doing it tomorrow because I'll be too weird and emotional. I'm just going to leave them on everyone's desk on Friday because it happens to be that 3 people are out of office on Friday, so there's only 2 girls in.
Shit, yeah.
So yeah, just for, like, my immediate team. But anyway, let's get into this app.
All right. So we both have lists, and then we also have your submissions. So
I'm so excited to hear the submissions.
Mine is in no particular order.
Right, because I was discussing, like, I guess you can't really weigh in, but if I should start at, like, the absolute most devastating or, like, the lightest.
I think whatever feels right.
I guess I'll
mine's
just follow
just
your
like
lead.
has
Are
like
we
a
gonna go
thing.
back and forth?
Yeah, I think we go back and forth.
Okay, that will make it easier.
I will start with last weekend. It's fresh on my list. So, and you know, I pray to God Surfer Boy like never listens to this anymore. I have a bad feeling he's listened to it in the past, but hopefully he hasn't, because...
Do you think... Well, I mean, yeah, his name is pretty obvious.
What?
To identify himself. I was going to say, do you think
he definitely, I mean, I read our text verbatim. Even if he questioned it for a second, he would know it was him. Right. And like every time he's traveling, we say
okay,
yeah. I just hope he's like no longer listening. But
also, I really love you because the fact that I'm about to share some of these things, like I'm about to be so open to the point where I was, I would say I was
looking. Oh my god, stop. I love number 3 on your list.
Stop. I was literally, I felt so vulnerable last weekend. I can't even imagine the things I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And it stays between us. And the only reason I feel comfortable is because the person I'm thinking of right now doesn't really have social media. If this gets back to him, I will really not be happy. So carry on.
Celia and I actually, quick scenario, because I know she's talking about this, just reminds me, we love to do this game where we are like, how much did you have to be paid to do this? And last night, we were like, how much would you have to be paid, like with each of our like people who have like seriously rejected us? How much would we have to be paid to, like, they're having a party and they have security there and we have to show up at the party and like uninvited and beg to get in, and then the person
and say that they invited us.
Yeah, and then the person like refuses to even come down. They're just like, they're not invited, get her out of here.
Or they say they don't even know us.
Yeah. I said 100K.
And I agreed.
And it would be hard, but like if someone put 100K cash in front of me, I'd do it. But I'd have to move.
Well, it's kind of
out of LA a little bit.
It's not worse for me by any means because yours is pretty bad, but
mine is
the part
terrible.
That made pretty bad for me was that it actually happened to be like a family event. And then his mom's like, fine, if this person invited you, and then she brought him down, and then he's like, no, I don't know her. That's something I can't really grapple with. Good thing these are just fun scenarios. Okay, let's hear your last weekend.
Okay, so last weekend, well, I have Surfer Boy right below last weekend, so I don't even think I really need to get into how Surfer Boy rejected me. We all know. He rejected me to the extreme. Like, I really shot my shot with him over and over.
You shot your shot?
No, I shot my shot, I said.
Oh, okay.
I shot my shot with him over and over and over and over again. And time again, he either turned me down or ignored me. So, this is why I hope he's not listening to this episode. This makes me like, anyway.
And this is why I really hope this like helps you. Like, I hope if you're feeling weird, just know we have done the weirdest of things.
No, this
like I'm laughing because it's too painful not to laugh.
Well, this is like weird of me in general, so I'm still feeling a little hurt over Surfer Boy. And Celia and I, we went out and then we decided we didn't vibe with the vibe where we were, so we went somewhere else. We didn't vibe there either, so we're walking down Abbot Kinney, and
a gift from God.
A gift, well, what we thought. I literally see Surfer Boy, like the Venice version of Surfer Boy, to the point where I could basically just pretend it was him.
By the way, his name was like a couple letters off, same syllables, like
same syllable, same letter.
Voice, if I close my eyes, would think it was Surfer Boy.
Yeah.
Looks, images of surfing, everything paralleled.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they like go to the same places, do the same things. He actually photographs surfers, so he probably genuinely knows him because it's a very small world there. It was very easy to just pretend that this man was Surfer Boy, so of course I was interested, and I told him immediately I was into him. He bought me a beer. Of course, I mean, I enjoy beer from time to time again. Is it like my drink of choice?
Wait, I didn't know you had a beer. I got a lychee martini.
I know you did.
Why would you tell him you wanted a beer?
I didn't tell him I wanted a beer.
Oh, okay.
He just grabbed me a beer.
Oh, that was sweet, I guess. What beer?
I don't know.
Was it maybe made in a brewery? Or were you at a pub?
Neither. We were at a restaurant.
All right, carry on. I was there also, by the way.
There really was no connection, but I just, I was drawn to him because it was like a redemption from Surfer Boy. So, and he was very handsome. He was very cute. And he had exactly the vibe I've been going for. So we all go to El Chucho together. And it's me, his friend that you liked, and then their friend who was fucking awesome, their friend.
Fucking awesome.
And yeah, we all went there, and he kind of, clearly he had a lot of other, we'll just call him Surfer Boy 2.0. He had a lot of other friends at El Chucho that he was really mingling. And then at one point he did come and like put his arm around my waist, but then all of a sudden, there's parts I could leave out to make myself feel more comfortable, but I will share it all. I made a joke that we were going to have an after party, of course, which really just entailed having the boys over for some drinks over here. He told me he'd have to think about it. He'd only come if his friend went. It's like, okay.
And what friend was he referring to?
The friend you were talking to. Like, everyone thought that, like, remember that was like they were brothers, but they're not, but they're very, whatever he goes, yeah. So anyway, then the night goes on and we go outside for a second. All of a sudden he goes back inside and he is nowhere to be found. At which point the friend that we think is awesome tells me that he had a chat with him to let him know I was interested in him, in which this guy, Surfer Boy 2.0, said he was not interested in me back. And then everyone basically starts going on about how he is no longer in El Chucho, but he didn't come out the front door, so everyone's like, oh, he must have gone through the back door. So then in my head, I'm like, oh.
It's not funny, it's just the story of
I
it all.
was like, oh my God, this guy didn't fuck with me so much. He literally told his friend he didn't like me, and then he snuck out the back door because
we didn't even know El Chucho had a back door.
Shitless of me.
Yeah.
And that was like
this is just not true.
So much to grapple with. And I literally, this was last weekend, this was last Friday. I went home. Yeah. I was very wine drunk, which definitely doesn't help. But I went home and sobbed.
I didn't know if you were going to share that part.
Yeah, because I was fucking humiliated. I mean, I literally was like, are you kidding me? Every single guy's been just rejecting me lately. And now not only are they rejecting me, but they're running out back doors to get away from me.
She was like, we have to go now. Because I didn't realize he had gone out the back door.
Yeah.
Granted, we don't know if he did.
Well, that's what. So then the next night we go back out and we see the friend there. The other boys aren't there, but just the friend that we think is awesome. He actually came back and we all had drinks together. Amazing. He's awesome. Unfortunately, he doesn't live in LA.
He was written by a woman, as you said.
Yeah, he was definitely written by a woman. He's the best. But he told me like the rejection really wasn't that severe, and that actually he said that Surferboy 2.0 had not left the building. Like he later was still there.
So he was probably in the bathroom or something, and like in your head it was like this whole thing.
He did still reject me. Like he definitely didn't fuck with me enough, but it wasn't to the point where he like disappeared at the building.
What, like ran through the back door? That just sounded so dramatic at the time. Like it was like, wow, stab. Mm-hmm. Like, and I didn't, it was just crazy.
Like, we would have had nothing to talk about.
Oh no,
I just liked his vibe.
Yeah. It was just weird because this was the same night that she had texted Surfer Boy,
and I thought it was,
it was literally a universe. Like
I thought
it was crazy. Sorry,
I thought it was the universe like putting the right Surfer Boy in front of me, but I think it was actually the universe trying to slam it into my face that I need to stop fucking with the surfer boys. Totally it's fine if a guy surfs, and honestly preferable, but I think if their career surrounds surfing, it's just
not for you. Surfer Boy listening, like
oh my God, if you're listening.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, so let's see where I should begin. I guess I could start with a Surfer Boy myself, because it's probably like the lowest on the totem pole for rejection here.
Who? Oh.
I don't even really know where to start with this story. Callie loves this story.
I love this story.
So let's throw it back to WeHo. Again, this is a funny episode, I hope. Like, try not to take this too seriously or think of me too odd. So basically, we're throw it back to WeHo. This guy had messaged me. I think I've talked about him on the podcast before, which was so creepy seeing as I've only met him once. But
I've only met Surfer Boy 1.5 times. How creepy is that?
Okay. Anyway, so basically, sorry, that was just kind of funny. I know that just made you cringe. I'm sorry.
No, it didn't make me cringe.
It's just like I didn't realize that until right now. I just don't even believe it.
I know.
No, you've met. That's not true. Twice. You met him twice.
1.5.
Okay. Anyway.
More like it was just.
So, yeah. Whatever. Basically, you had talked a lot longer though. So this guy DM'd me that he had seen me on Raya, and he did this whole like nice thing about getting drinks, or we had matched or something. I don't know. He was very direct and to the point and straightforward, and I loved that about him. And so I'm like, okay, let's just try. Like, I think
this
was
is
the first
before
guy.
we had moved to Venice and you were dying to get your foot in Venice.
Oh, all I wanted to do was go out with Venice men before we moved here. And like we didn't really have an intention of moving here. I just love the vibe. So basically, yes, of course, he was from Venice and he was very straightforward, texting me throughout the week. I'm like, okay, sure. So he comes over towards West Hollywood, towards me.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we met at this random bar that one of his colleagues had suggested, and I get there and I am in absolute shock because I'm sorry, this is gonna sound very I don't want it to come across as like shallow, because it's not that I couldn't get past it, but I was just in shock because he was very handsome, but he had a very high-pitched voice that I just really wasn't expecting, and no photos could have told me about. It was just shocking. So then I'm like, you know, really trying to be like, okay, could I like him? Like, it's a date. It was just shocking.
Yeah.
I remember I went to the bathroom and I called you.
I do remember.
And at that point I was like, okay, I'm kind of depressed right now. I
was gonna say, you need to add in the part that you were like super depressed.
Okay, I was severely depressed. I should not have been going on a date whatsoever at this state of depression. I don't even remember why, probably just life. And basically I decided I can either get myself out of the state because I clearly don't like him, or I can drink several martinis and try to have a good night because I'm depressed. And if you couldn't guess, I went with the latter. So we're sitting at this bar having martinis. The conversation's there, I guess. Whatever. And then
what did you even talk about?
I don't know. I just remember feeling awkward because, like, well, we talked about everything, I guess, but I remember feeling awkward because, like, obviously on a date, you're trying to see, like, if you could form a life together, and I kept talking about how I just wanted to get out of here and back to the East Coast. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But no, we talked about work, life. I mean, we were flirting, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he was, like, thinking it was going well, I guess, and he suggested we go somewhere else for drinks, and I said, great, let's go to Tower Bar. Free drinks, might as well go to Tower Bar. And then I remember this is where things really took a turn, because when we got to Tower Bar, he knew a bunch of people at the bar, and he looked so cool all of a sudden in my martini eyes, because all of a sudden a bunch of the people at the bar knew him, and I was like, wait a second, is he cool?
Yeah.
Then, I mean, Tower Bar was pure romance. I mean, clearly we were both, this is the power of alcohol, because it was like not that amazing at the other bar, like just kind of chatting about life. But at Tower Bar, it was like, we were like, sorry, not everyone's on YouTube, but we were like really staring into each other's eyes, talking at the bar, like so intimate, like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And then, if you must know, we were, I don't even know how to tell this story. We were out and, we shared a kiss actually on Sunset up this little
above
side
Sunset,
street,
which we actually visited after it happened.
Yes, that is true. We were waiting for our Uber, and then don't ask me why, because I had no intention of like doing anything with him, and I didn't.
You have to be completely honest about this.
I will be completely honest. But yeah, so no intentions of doing, literally, like I wasn't trying to do anything with him, and that, thank God, did not happen. I mean, of course we did kiss. But we arrive at his apartment and I pretty much fall asleep. I mean, I've had several martinis. I wake up scared shitless because first off, I never, ever, ever have left Vita without planning to overnight. And I was freaking out because I'm in Venice of all places. And then I'm like, what the heck? What am I doing here? Like, why? And thank God nothing had happened. I turn around because he's trying to like cuddle me, and he goes, my mom listens to this. God damn it. Oh, I don't know if I can do this.
You have to.
Okay. And he goes something along the lines of he just feels so lucky or in shock that I'm there. And then I'm like, how did I get here? And then to which he says, you just got in the Uber.
No, he didn't say that. He said, you just kind of came.
Or you just kind of came. Something like that. Insinuating it was my great idea that I come to Venice. Yeah, probably because I want to freaking move to Venice. I don't know. But no, I was so, like, as soon as he said that, I want to vomit. When someone says they cannot believe you're there, that's a major sign that it's not where you should be. And then it was really awkward too, because I remember him making this comment like, literally, wow, like I can't believe you're here. We literally, like, I was just planning to go on a first date, like insinuating like he would never have a sleepover. It was just so awkward, and I wish that it never happened. Then Q, again, thank God, literally, I keep making it sound like something happened. Nothing happened, but I should not have been there. It was like really shocking. So I GTFO. Then we're going. Oh yeah, I forgot another thing. He was supposed to wake up at 6 to go. I want to say Ventura to go surfing. I'm not kidding.
Don't know why that's funny. We haven't shared anyone's location.
I don't know. Anyway, so he was supposed to go there at 6 a.m. And then, of course, he, because I had stayed the night, had overslept. So then he was like, oh, it's no problem. I'd much rather spend time with you than go surfing the trip with his friends. And then he said he'll probably just go surfing in Malibu. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I leave. And then, in which I had to meet his roommate leaving. It was just so much. Like, it was so much. And then Callie and I don't know, cue a few hours later, we're both hungover, and we decide to go to Malibu, actually. And we go swimming, and we stop at McDonald's before the beach because we had to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't be here. That's him. I'm not kidding. Same time, same place. So random. We lived in West Hollywood. It was him in the flesh. And I text him. I said, thanks for a great night, smiley face. He says, of course, I had a great time, and hearts the message. I say, were you just in the Malibu McDonald's? He says, yes, ...
Wait, yeah, because she's not adding. Whenever Celia sees someone she knows, she refuses to, like, she will completely avoid them. Like,
yes.
Instead of just saying, hey,
I could never.
Yeah.
No.
So he doesn't know, or maybe he saw you there and then saw you scurry out. Yeah.
He says, yes, ... I'm dead. Just surf Malibu. I said, wow, way more productive than me. We're just getting to the beach, LOL. But wow, we just stopped to use the bathroom and I swear I saw you. This is so much worse than I thought. He said, I was getting a Diet Coke and fries. So embarrassing, haha. I said, haha, I just got Taco Bell. Same wavelength. He responded, haha, to the message.
No, he didn't. He just ha-ha'd it. He didn't say ha-ha.
He ha-ha'd the message.
Yeah.
And proceeded to then unfollow me and remove me as a follower on Instagram, which Callie just loves this story. But like, yeah, let's just say that it's a form of rejection.
It's just,
do not fuck with me that so much that you remove me as a
it's
follower.
It's just so funny because that's so intense. Like, he's like, I don't want,
literally, like, nothing bad happened.
Like, he was like, I don't want this girl knowing what the fuck I'm doing or where the fuck I am.
And he's private. Yeah. He removed me as a follower
because he was probably scared shitless.
Yeah, the Malibu comment must have sent him over the edge. Yeah, but like, I remember when we were leaving, I was just so icked out.
You just happened to be going to Malibu, and he because like, he probably, like, a lot of people also just like to note, like, if in LA when people don't live close to the beach, like, going to the beach is like a big deal. Like, people make such a big deal out of like having a beach day.
Yeah, bizarre. But anyway, no, it's true. And also, like, when we left, I remember like he was trying to like give me a kiss goodbye, and I didn't want that, and I just had such an ick, and I could tell that he didn't.
Yeah,
which is why I get confused by it, but clearly he did.
My next one you've heard before. I'm not gonna get into too much detail. I've hashed this goddamn moment out so many times, but very quickly, this is actually Surfer Boy's friend who, whatever.
I love this one.
He basically, I was supposed to go on a date with him, but I chose Surfer Boy instead because he like wasn't available the night that Surfer Boy was available. He texted me after the date with Surfer Boy, how'd the date with my friend go? We all know this, whatever. I didn't respond. I felt awkward. Then I texted him during the holidays, and I was like, because I realized I didn't fuck with Surfer Boy. That's the crazy thing. I've never been into him until he wasn't into me. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I texted this guy, we'll just call him Skater Boy. I texted Skater Boy, and I was like, hey, and he didn't text me back. Whatever. I moved to LA, and I'm like showing my friend his photo, and I'm like, he's so hot. I've got to hang out with him. So I text him, and I'm like, hey, let's still grab that drink sometime, something like that. And he says, to which he says, who is this? And I say, instead of responding, my friend encourages me to just send a selfie. It was a weird as hell selfie. You can go to my Instagram and find it. It's from my Bahamas trip where I'm laying in bed in a plaid bikini.
Which she did not disclose this, by the way. That is a thirst trap to me. For months, I thought it was just a selfie on the spot. No, this is a full-blown thirst trap from her Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
And I sent it to him and he didn't respond. Ever. So that was pretty extreme rejection from him.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That I'll give you.
Yeah.
All right, here's a quick extreme one from me. I almost just said his name.
He's dying to be on the podcast.
Really? No, I'm doing this one.
Oh, this is
very
hilarious.
quick.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. I'm not sure if I've told this one before, but basically in college, I was dating someone who was friends with Callie's boyfriend. Actually, I don't think we were ever dating by any means. We had, how long did we go on?
A couple months or two, yeah.
Not too serious, but anyway. So he asked me if we could meet at Sweet Green to talk. And quite frankly, I thought we were just getting dinner. And then after this whole conversation, I really can't remember like the details. I wish I could. We just hugged goodbye and I thought like we were on a great terms. Like I really thought that we were still like progressing this dating thing, and turns out he actually told Callie's boyfriend that was him dumping me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I did not even know I got rejected.
No, you
like, am I that naive to rejection that I like
thought you just had like a nice chat?
Yeah. No, I'm not even kidding. Turns out he had literally quote unquote dumped me. And I had no idea. Like I wish I was lying and I probably sound like such an idiot, but I actually had that was shocking.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
next.
that's a hilarious one.
Yep. That for me.
And then to make her feel better, I commented on one of his photos.
Yeah, you're a real one for
I
that.
said, drop that ass slower, blank. His name. Not like, I feel like that sounds bad when I say blank. I said, just, that sounds like I'm like calling him a name. All I said was drop that ass slower. With his name.
You are a real one for that, especially because you were still very adjacent to him.
Yeah, and he never
does
removed
not
the
fuck with
comment, and now I don't follow him.
Although
so that
he still follows me, and I don't follow him.
That comment's
so.
still lingering somewhere if the photo's still up, but
yeah, I don't follow him anymore.
Check,
anyway.
yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This is this is a bit like inappropriate to bring up, but this was this was rejection.
What?
But my most recent hookup that led to me having the whole pregnancy scandal.
Yeah. Wow.
That was rejection. If we're gonna go there. Well, first it was rejection because basically I texted him I had a great time. He never responded. That was the initial rejection. But I would say it was pretty extreme rejection when a man doesn't fuck with you so much that even when they find out that you're pregnant, they just block you on everything.
It's not funny at all. It's just wow,
like,
that is rejection title.
Yeah, but
textbook, rather.
What just drives me nuts is like this guy, like for the rest of his life, he's going to think like the only reason I like went through with that is because I was obsessed with him, and that drives me crazy because that had nothing to do with him. But he is forever gonna think I'm like this crazy girl who was so obsessed with him that I decided like to keep the baby so that I could reel him in which case he felt he had to block me. That just makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I hope he listens to this so he knows, but I doubt he does.
He doesn't.
I know. All right, this is a pretty hard one for me to grapple with. This is my last jokey one, and then I'm gonna get into my 2 real rejections of all time. I'll make them jokey.
This was a pretty tough rejection. And
yeah, this one, not because I cared about him, but I was in shock. I'm sorry, it's just true. Okay, so basically,
this guy's dying to be on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, he has still, after the rejection, actually reached out to be on the podcast, so no really comment there. Anyway, basically, it was all fun and games. We were having a great time at Shellback, and this one guy was very attracted to me. We had told the story, or so I thought. And I mean, you have to admit, Callie was the #1 egg your honor here.
I was, because you guys were vibing so well, and you were just like, a lot of times, and I do this too, obviously, but like, it's like you were just being so yourself. You weren't trying to act cool or anything. You were just like joking. I have never seen you be
maybe that was a sign that I didn't actually like him.
Well, so one day it'll be the sign that it's the right person.
Oh God. Yeah. No.
You were just so yourself. I love to see you joke. Like, I feel like you never show guys your funny side until so much later, and you were just being so like it just.
It was a good time.
Yes. So
I'm
I
still
egged
salty
it on
about it.
because I loved the vibe he brought out of you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, but thank you for nothing else if you're listening, which you probably is.
Yeah.
Basically, I thought we were having a great time. We had one of our someone's quote unquote afters. In which he happened to stay.
We've got to stop having afters.
I know. Literally. Oh, that just broke my heart.
That really broke my heart too. Yeah, I don't even really want to talk
say
about that. That makes that.
That actually was like, yeah, wow. Okay. Basically the moral of the story is that a man could act so in love with you. I really think like his game is to be the underdog. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And it's like somehow charming. Anyway, so you could literally think that they liked you so much, and like even though
he talked about marriage.
That's probably a red flag, but yeah. I literally like, I swear on my life, I know you might not believe me, but I did not, like, I wasn't that interested until he ghosted me, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe he was rejecting me because he was the one that was so full on onto me.
It was crazy.
And imagine being like so full on onto someone and then just like literally ghosting them, and then their friend has to reach out. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then they answer.
Wait, what did I say?
Like, it's so shocking.
It must have been through Instagram. Or did we
No, I
prank
think it was
called
texting.
him? I don't know what his number is, but
Well, I gave it to you, obviously.
can you wait? Hold on.
Oh my God.
What's his number so I can search it?
This actually makes me want to die, so I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
So he texts me. Oh wow, really? I sent him "How Did It End" by Taylor Swift. Anyway, so he finally texts me, "Hey." I say, "Hey, I'm sorry about how I handled things." This is because Callie asked if he was ghosting me or something like that.
Yeah, I basically texted him, and he was like,
And I will reiterate, I did not want to date him. I did not even want a future.
No,
I
it's
was just in
crazy.
disbelief.
and I said that he owed you an explanation.
Thank you. So then he goes, "I'm sorry about how I handled things."
Wish you'd do that to Surfer Boy.
You want me to?
No.
Immature
Not
on my
be good.
part, and I know that. By the way, he's like, God knows how much older than me.
He's like 35.
I don't. No, he's not, but pretty old.
He's
I don't have any excuse other than being an asshole. You are so great. This makes me want to vomit. You are so great and so sweet, and I want you to know I had a great time with you. Listening to the pod was hard, but I laughed when you said you knew for a fact I'd be listening. You were right. Anyways, I'm really sorry. And I said, "I was right about what?" And he said that you knew for a fact I'd be listening. I said, "You took me by surprise." He said, "What do you mean?" Yeah, that was something I recycled from someone who told me that I took them by surprise.
Who told you that? Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, it definitely hurts a lot when you're rejected by someone who you think would never reject you.
Yeah.
Moral of that story.
Cue Surfer Boy again. I mean.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, no, everyone knows the Surfer Boy story. Okay, this was a pretty harsh rejection. So, in Boston, I had like this crazy romance with this guy, and it was like a 3-week romance where I basically didn't leave his house.
It was like a fantasy bender.
It was a fantasy bender because this guy, he was like royalty, like not funny. He lived in this building that like all the like Celtics players and like vaguely. Yeah, I don't know, but like his house, whatever, condo was like 30-foot ceilings and like custom Goyard wallpaper in all the bathrooms and heated toilet seats and a smoking lounge and like whenever whenever he'd have a party, he'd like hire DJs and like catering. Yeah. It was, I mean, I had a blast around him.
Being around you around him.
Yeah, it was just like such a I was living not a real life for this.
You're like Mia Thermopolis.
I don't know who that is.
Princess Diaries.
Oh. I basically just like didn't leave his house, and like he didn't want me to. I wasn't being creepy. He didn't want me to until one day he did want me to. I don't know what happened, but basically we had all gone out and we were with some friends, and then me and said friend went back to his house. He told me he'd meet me there, but I could tell his vibe was off and he was trying to avoid me that night. And then, unfortunately, he refused to come home because he knew I was there, and he did not arrive back home until I left, and we never spoke again. Oh, that's not true, actually. Later when I was in New York, he was in New York too, and he tried to invite me to his hotel, but I did not go. But
wait, I don't even remember the ending of that. That's crazy.
So
you were just sitting around waiting? What made you leave?
Well, it got to be around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and his friend was like, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And so I sent him several text messages to which he didn't respond.
Yeah,
and then he just never spoke to me again until like much later on. So that was definitely rejection. And it was on top of rejection, it was like this fantasy life of living this lavish lifestyle for a few weeks.
For him to come home.
I mean, it was awesome, and it was like he lived right next to our school too. I mean, I felt so cool. It was like such a blast there. Did he ever take me to dinner or anything? He must have. How did I meet him?
Okay, so this is my second to most intense rejection of my entire life, and then I'll go into my most after. So second to most was pretty recent, and I was really heavily debating sharing this with you, but
I think you've already shared it.
Not what I'm about to share.
Oh, okay.
I've definitely kept some details to myself. But for the sake of rejection and girlhood and girl house, this is the true story. So, summer romance. Yes, I've spoken. When I guess it's just so pathetic that now he is just my summer romance. But I've had several summer romances, but I feel like every time I talk about it, it's usually him.
Yeah.
So basically, as you know, whirlwind summer romance, chatted for a whole summer, and like this has been built up because I had known about him for years and kind of known him a couple of times throughout the years, and then it turned to a romance that summer. So that story we don't really need to get into. Point is, it was the most magical whirlwind summer romance I've ever had. I don't want to call it love because it wasn't, but like the feelings were like holy. It was literally a novel.
Yeah. And you guys spoke in a novel.
Okay.
It was
I mean, it was just
like
awesome.
They both were speaking in novel. Yes, I will say that.
Much. So then, unfortunately, as summer romances do, I read this awful quote once, but they dwindle and fade into something that was just so magical that it could never be recaptured again. And basically, we were... The last time he had messaged me was on Thanksgiving, and then I hadn't answered until right around Christmas. And I know I've vaguely told this, but I just want to get into the depth of it really quick. So I had messaged him around Christmas that I was going to be on Nantucket for the New Year, and like I would love for him to be my New Year's kiss or something like that. Then I proceed to go to Nantucket, and it's ghosts, crickets. I was like, when I sent that text, I knew he was going to answer.
Yeah.
Like I just had no doubt. No, he doesn't answer. And then I'm there. Imagine just being there. Practically no one's there in the winter.
Yeah, you basically were there just for him.
Don't say that. I was not there just for him. I was with my friends. But yes, I was very excited to see him. So yeah, we were out at the bar, and I mean, we had been to the brewery, and then we were at Brotherhood, and we had been drinking like all day. And I was just like, I have to know if he's here. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to be here, because this is really embarrassing to admit, but through some social media stalking, I was pretty much positive that, again, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I was pretty much positive that his family was on vacation. He has a large family. I didn't know if that would include him, but I would pretty much assume so. I get in this guy's car. My cousin comes with us. We drive past his house. Lights on. All the lights. I tell you, tears. I was just in shock.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
No, it's terrible.
And like, it sounds so dramatic, but like that was just the biggest form of rejection, because I live across the country, and like he was the one, again, like feeding to me how intense and amazing this was and how much he liked me and all this stuff. And then for me to be in the same place as you and you not to answer me.
Yeah.
Shocking. Then in like February, as we all know, he called me and told me he was going through things, didn't want me to see him, such a mess.
We still will never know.
And like, then I throughout these calls that had gone on a couple days, I then sent him a really dramatic message, which you can go back and listen to the first episode that I'm on if you want to hear that. But to which he did not answer. And then, you know, of course, this most recent summer, I happened to send him a drunk photo of something. Did I share this on the podcast?
I think so, but share it again.
Basically, we had taken this stupid Nantucket bike cart thing on a joyride once. It's like a carriage, and I sent him a photo of it when I was drunk, and my mom was driving us home, and I took the photo, and I didn't realize until later on, because I was pretty tipsy, that the photo was like literally right outside of his house. So that was lovely.
That's hilarious.
And then it just says red, and he never answered.
Well, you sent another message after that.
Yeah, okay. I've
just
sent a
full
few.
honesty. What else did you say?
Full honesty. Then I think you convinced me to say.
I would never convince you to send a text to him anymore.
Yes, you did. That weekend.
What text?
You were like, you've gone so far, nothing can hurt it. I think I was like.
Well, maybe that's when I was in my texting
Did
phase.
I do something? Or something like that. Or like, it's just something so stupid. But the point is, he never answered me. Oh, and yeah, when I saw him at the brewery, that was awful. I was walking towards this like section. I told this story in a previous episode, but I was walking towards the section of the brewery to get a table, and I saw him, and my whole face just like dropped, and my body went numb.
Yeah.
And then I had to just like immediately turn around, and then I had to get myself in a good mood because Jamie had come just for the day.
Right.
Like I didn't want to be like a sourpuss because I was like heartbroken, but like I literally had a tear. I'm not kidding.
Yeah. No, I would have gone home.
And it was just awful.
I don't know how you did that.
It was awful. So yeah, that would be called rejection, and it was not nice. It just sucks so bad when like you feel something so strong.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, it's just over.
Yeah.
And, like, you're not the one that did that. Ugh,
yeah.
Rejection at its finest.
No, I mean, I've talked about, this isn't even, I mean, it is on my list, but I wasn't really going to talk about it because I've talked about it so many times. But same with, like, my 2022 situationship, who was gay but not gay but gay but not gay, who didn't, basically, I thought we were falling in love. He thought we were best friends. Then we never spoke again. And this whole time, like, when we weren't speaking, I thought he was, like, so sad about me. But nope, he had a girlfriend. And he, like, literally said we would have to stop having sex once we started dating other people. So he just, like, sometimes people just, like, don't fuck with you.
Yeah. It's a hard pill to
it's
swallow.
a really hard, like, I always am like, oh, they're so sad, like, whatever, like, it's whatever. And like every single time he posted a song on his Instagram, I'd be like, that's about me. But
Classic.
actually, no, it was about the other woman he was dating immediately after me. And he probably brought up this whole conversation about our friendship and what are we going to do when we start having sex with other people, because he was having sex with, or because he was having sex and dating other people.
The timeline was that close?
I don't know when they started dating, but it seemed pretty soon after.
Awful.
But that's, like, I have many episodes on that man, but that was the guy who shattered my heart into a million goddamn pieces.
Still picking them up.
Yeah. That one will.
It's a joke.
It will sit with me for a while. That one.
Yeah. That joke?
No, not the joke. Just
okay.
the situation.
Yeah.
That's the worst part too. Like, what made me feel weird, and not to out you, but you're kind of in the same situation, is this situation was basically 2 months.
Oh yeah.
And I was devastated. I mean, it still sometimes hurts a bit.
It's just the rejection part that hurts the most, I think. Yeah. Honestly, if that's really.
No, I remember like when my parents when I went through my first breakup, my parents kept telling me, like, it's not about the person, because it really was not about. Everyone was shocked I was devastated over this guy. They were like, it's not about the person, it's about the fact that he's rejecting you, and you 100%. Need to. But I haven't learned how to deal with that. I actually am going to bring last weekend's rejection and my reaction to it up to my therapist tomorrow, so I'll follow up with advice. But
I have one more. What about you?
I have one or two more. This guy, I actually don't know his name. I'm not sure this is his name or not. I don't know.
Oh, the one.
Yeah. I don't remember what his name is anymore, but this was right after I was.
Funny name to choose.
Well, because
I chose the name of my summer romance.
Well, I think that is his name.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I'm almost positive that's his name.
Okay.
I just can't.
I thought that was just like a cruel joke.
No, I think it's his name. I just can't remember what his last name is. This was right after I was getting over, like, the situationship. My heart is shattered. Like, this is fresh. I like was like literally could not eat, could not move, could not post. I was heartbroken. And so this guy, basically, I'm heartbroken, and this guy like DMs me, and I'm like not super attracted to him, but I liked how he brought up Cleo and Luna, and he asked me to go to dinner at Dumbo House, and I was like, of course, like kind of excited because like, while I didn't find him like super attractive, he seemed cool, and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. And so we go to dinner, we have drinks, we have dinner, we have a good time. But then at the end of the date, like he starts like more like interviewing me and explaining all these business opportunities. And turns out this whole time I thought we were on a date. We were actually, he's like started this like kind of social media network thing. Like he wants to make it like TV kind of. And so it wasn't a date. It was him trying to like bring me
recruit
on.
You.
Yeah. And that was definitely like, I already was feeling so goddamn rejected, and then I was like, oh my god, this wasn't.
He kind of could have prefaced that.
He really could have. He left it like.
I mean, I guess they do.
All
say
he
that
did was
dating apps are for networking.
It wasn't even through a dating app. It was through my DMs.
No,
I have the DMs. I promise.
Yes, but he found you off Riot. Because
no, he didn't. His assistant found me and told him to DM me.
Oh, okay.
I promise.
You really should have prefaced that.
Let me read our messages. So I'd just like to know what you would think if you received this. I'm showing my roommate your TikToks to convince her to let us get a cat, but she refuses. I like said, okay, but hold on, sent photos of them and then whatever. What happens if I want to meet them in person, he says. I said it would require an opportunity for a heavy screening process prior. They're introduced to far and few, which is true. I protect the messy woman at all costs. He said, I imagine they're hard to win over. Why don't we try dinner on Tuesday to make a list of reasons why I need a cat, and only that, of course. I guess it's like we didn't actually only.
He's not helping your case.
I said, sounds great, except I'm booked and busy on Tuesday. Can you do tomorrow? Yeah. 8. What's your number, and what part of the city are you in? I said, perfect, and I'm in Dumbo, and then I texted him. And yeah, I wonder what would have happened. He wanted to make me the Gen Z Judge Judy. Anyway, I thought we were going on a date. We weren't. It was hurtful. And
yeah, that is hurtful, actually.
I was just like, it's not even that I really liked him that much.
It's just the premise, yeah.
And then I obviously felt embarrassed because I literally asked him when we were getting in the elevator, was this a date or was this a business meeting? And he was like, it was a little bit of both, he said. Oh, which was just a way to let me down.
Negative, no. Yeah. Not a good way to do this for him.
He should have said, I want to talk to you about like an opportunity.
You'd be so hyped, and then you'd go into it completely differently.
Yes, and maybe I would have actually been more open to
the
idea of this opportunity had I known this was a business meeting.
Our Gen Z Judge Judy. We'll never know.
I know. It's not too late.
Missed opportunity, honestly.
Is it? No, I'm like, fuck, should I have been the Gen Z?
No, I'm kidding.
Gen Z Judge Judy? But he wanted me to do like all these skits. And he would after like try to like, he'd like, was like, hey, can you meet me here? I'll pay for your Uber. I need you to pretend you're buying a watch. And I'm like, I'm not doing a goddamn skit.
Okay. That's interesting.
Anyway, sorry. Go on. There's like this trend going on TikTok now where it's like they put like literal plants. So like people make fake personalities completely and like fake lives and go on there. And it's like a thing. So they kind of do. Anyway.
That's what this guy does?
I think he's part of it.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll enter my final rejection, and this one cuts the deepest.
Yeah. First cuts the deepest.
But yeah, literally.
Yeah.
This would be it. So once upon a time, I had a summer, I don't even want to call him my summer romance because he was just my summer crush for years. I mean, even like as I went throughout the years, high school, college, etc., and dated other people, like I would always find myself when I was single, like interested in him because he was just like, I don't know. It's kind of like the situationship that never happened. Of course, you're always interested.
Of course.
And like now looking back, like he literally responded to something this summer in my DMs, and I'm just like, ew, like why?
Yeah.
But like when you're in it, you're so in it, obviously.
It's so
and it was just so frustrating. And this is such a valid point that I realized the other day when we were talking about Surfer Boy. But basically,
we're
like,
always talking about Surfer Boy.
For example, this guy lives, I don't want to out him, but he lives in Massachusetts, and in the summer he lives in Nantucket, but he lives in like the mainland, and he in the winter, and basically like outside of Boston, like when I was in college in Boston, he really easily could have come and hung out.
Yeah.
Like he did maybe once.
I think
like
once,
he really could have. And he was just Mr. MIA, which obviously I shouldn't, but like when I was abroad in Italy, he texted me and called me like every single day.
Yeah.
And that's just disgusting. But like he didn't even want sexual. I mean, maybe at the end of the day he did, but like that wasn't the reason he was talking to me.
Yeah.
But it's more so like people think they're not capable of being in a relationship for whatever reason. So like when I'm not like immediately there in close proximity where he'd actually have to take action to forming a relationship, he's like wanting to talk all damn day. But when I'm like there and like he'd actually have to, you know, man up.
No, I mean,
it's awful to say man up, but you know what I mean.
Though that's what the comparison Surfer Boy. When I lived in New York, he was so goddamn interested in me.
It's crazy, but then when you're available and right there, they're like so distant.
Like, yeah, I'll drive up anytime you want me to.
Literally, that was me. Oh,
no, I'm only an hour and a half away.
Anyway, so this had really gone on. It had gone on far too long. And the last time that we were both single, he had been messaging me, and he had messaged me like it was about to be summer, and Fagawi weekend is like a huge thing on Nantucket. It's Memorial Day weekend, and everyone goes. It's like the first weekend everyone goes. And he was messaging me that maybe we should go like do a pregame together, which is just so lame in the first place that I was excited by that. Like that shows you how down bad that I was for him, that I was excited to have that he invited me to pregame.
I'd be thrilled if Surfer Boy invited me to a pregame.
Like, well, this is why, because we always meet each other
and
out.
like a pregame is so fun.
And
oh my gosh.
So like official, like we're going out together rather than meeting out.
And then you don't have to worry about finding them. Yeah,
exactly.
Trust me.
So I was hyped. Turns out we didn't even end up pre-gaming together, but of course I found him out. And I just remember that night like was so great because he was like all of his friends and family were there. Not literal family, the family that's his age, like his cousins. But they were all there, and like I just remember they were all like talking to me, and like obviously I knew them, but they were all like really liking me, and I just felt like this is so great. Like they're all loving me, you know that feeling?
Yeah.
And like he just seemed so proud that I was there. And like then we went to an after at his. It's always the damn afters. And like again, same thing, like everyone was just like loving me, and he was sitting right next to me. I guess his arm wasn't around me, but it felt like
you
we
wished
were very,
it was.
I wished it was. I guess I can't remember, but I doubt it because of how this ends. But it just felt like we were very much together, and I was like so happy and proud to be there, and it felt like, oh my god, this is like really happening, like whatever. And then everyone else clears for the night, and it's just him and I actually think I went in to kiss him, and he stopped me, and he said, I can't. I'm actually seeing someone. When I tell you, like, I actually could cry right now, not because I have any feelings towards him, but I have never felt more rejected in my entire life, and my heart just dropped in a single tear. Like, I'm not kidding, it was embarrassing because a tear literally fell from my face, but I wasn't like, you know when you're like crying like like it's like your whole face muscles are moving and you're like versus like I literally couldn't help tears just like streaming down my face in silence. And I immediately was ordering my Uber, and he was like, let me order your Uber, and I didn't say a single word. Tears were just, and then he's like, well, at least let me walk you out. I did not say a single word. I just walked out and I got in the Uber.
That's very powerful.
I later went on to probably harass him via text. But that night was very powerful, at least. I just like, I was in disbelief, and I felt like it was some sort of twisted, sick revenge, because I feel like whenever I was like in a relationship, he'd be all pissy, but obviously I was in relationships. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it was like finally he was in a relationship, and it was just like wow. Like, you're really going to have me here the whole night? You're going to meet me out? You're going to have me over with all your friends, and none of your friends are going to say anything? He wasn't dating someone yet, but he was seeing someone. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then just stab me in the back a million times, why don't you? Oh my God, that was awful.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even comprehend. I've just never felt so rejected in my life. To think someone that liked me was right there in front of me, and then they simply said, no, I don't want you.
Yeah, no.
It was crazy. It like actually
especially
stings
like
to this
it
day.
was like the 7-year situation. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was insane. And that, you know, is actually the thing that got me over him. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I had like always like back and forth in the back of my mind. I always like would come back to him if I was single. So
yeah.
Thank God that happened. And now, yeah, I could never see myself liking him. But wow, did that sting.
Yeah, that was a brutal one.
Yeah. Anyway, that wraps mine. Do you have an end?
I have a few small ones. I can't even get into. We've discussed my freshman year situationship so many times. It's just, he rejected me terribly. Basically, I fell head over heels. This was like one of my, I'm still not fully over it. Freshman year, we were like on the road to date, but then he decided he did not like me anymore, and I could feel him drifting away. And then we like went away for Christmas, like winter break, and when we got back, he told me he just wanted to be friends. I chose not to allow it. So we would still hook up all the time. And he just like made it so clear. He didn't like, he fucked with me enough that when he was drunk and he wanted to hook up with someone, he would. But even that, I was still like his last resort. And he just like would reject me over and over and over, like in front of other people and in front of me. He would like choose other women over me. But it was really hard because there'd be days where he like decided he like really fucked with me. And then I'd think like, oh my gosh, like that's where the pregame thing you said hit so hard, because there's so many times he'd invite me to pregame and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like we're on good terms again. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And like we'd spend the whole day together, day drinking, like doing lines, having an awesome day. And then come like 10 p.m., he'd just leave with another girl. And I'd be like,
yeah, that's awful.
It was the most hurtful. I mean, I kind of put myself in the position, but I also I was rejected actually twice this weekend, if we want to consider this rejection. Another skater I've been talking to that I think I'm just like, he clearly has no personality. He bores the hell out of me over text, but
I don't know who you're talking about.
I texted him this weekend, asked what he was up to, and then he was very responsive. So I was like, hey, we're going to El Chucho, and he's like, oh, I've heard of that place. I'm like, okay. I'm not like saying it like that. It's more just like he lives in Venice.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because he lives here. He's lived here for a while, and he lives very close to it.
Yeah, no, it is.
I'm just and it's so like, I'm just so shocked he hasn't been there, because I'm sure all of his friends have, because it's so his vibe.
No, I agree. It was just
and not that I know him, but
it was funny.
Ducky just laid in his crate by himself. This is the first time he's done that. That's a really great sign. Yeah. He never does that. I can't believe that just happened. But anyway, I texted him and I said, come tonight, to which he never responded. And you know, when I was out and I was drunk, I was like talking to other guys, and I was like, should I just send another message? And they were all like, no.
Yeah.
That's insane.
They really had your back on that one.
Thank God I didn't, but I almost did. Like if a guy doesn't respond to you, it's not that they haven't seen the message, or that they've
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Another one, another skater. This guy I had like a massive crush on. I was so excited when we matched on Raya, and we were like texting every now and then, but like never made it to hanging out. And then one night he like randomly texted me and invited me to a party, to which I was so excited, because I was like, this is my moment. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize what kind of parties he threw. They're borderline extremely inappropriate.
Yeah.
He is, I don't know how old he is, and I don't need to give specifics, but he is at least our age, probably a bit older.
I'd say older. And
he has like all of these, like, I'm sure no one's underage, but like they're all like 18-year-old girls. And
like
it's
an LA party.
That's
what it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's just creepy, because like yeah, he it's
I
just
feel like all those like LA people were there.
Yeah, it's basically just he has like these parties and invites a bunch of girls. And I mean, yeah, that's what he does. I don't know anyone's age. I don't want to start rumors. Yeah, and then the other crazy thing too is like, so he invites all these girls and like I'm so excited, even though like clearly it's a party for just like there's only a few men and it's mostly girls, so clearly it's like for these few men to have men. The ratio was like 20-80, I would say.
Okay.
And like I think he's at least gonna say like hi to me at this party, so I get really excited. But when Celia and I first get there, we go outside and we're sitting and I'm having a little smoke and then he comes out to tell everyone sitting outside, get out, get back inside.
First off, wait, you have to mention also that we are literally
right.
like the first
I
to
forgot
arrive,
to say that.
And there is security. He has not even arrived
yeah,
yet.
because he's like with like a group of girls that are like still. Yeah, I actually forgot that detail. In our defense, we still arrived like 3 hours later. Like we got there like 1 a.m. and I told him I was coming. Anyway, and he clearly like didn't really care, but I just thought like when I got there we'd chat.
You also didn't realize like when you ask someone to come to a party that's like a mass text situation, you
I
thought it was like
didn't.
a very specific.
I thought he was
text.
asking me to come to his party.
I mean, he was asking you to come to his party, but like
yeah. But like I thought he was asking me.
Yeah.
I don't even think he realized he was texting me.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm sure he just went boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure.
Sends a lot of advice.
I'm not even sure he sent the text himself.
Oh my god.
He might. Anyway. So yeah, we got there and then. Yeah, I thought like once the party got going, me and him would chat, but actually instead of chatting with anyone, he just sits in the middle of the room DJing.
It's so LA.
And he
so
speaks
shocking.
to no one, and he just like has like a few women who stand by him while he DJs. I just found it,
all these girls are like, "Oh, I went to Blank's party."
Yeah.
And like, what is the point for him?
Yeah.
Imagine throwing a whole party and like you just sit there DJing. You don't even get to like talk to people or enjoy it.
It doesn't sound enjoyable.
Yeah.
If I was gonna throw a party, I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe he's clearly passionate about DJing.
Yeah, I guess so.
But so then, like another time after that, he texted.
He's not a DJ, by the way.
Well, he's working on it clearly.
Really?
I remember when we first started talking, we were like actually texting back and forth like about like our lives and stuff. He like told me he had just he was like at his friends. He sent me a photo and he was like, I'm trying to learn how to DJ. So he's like trying to be a DJ.
Wow, but he's very successful in his career. So this is just like a side passion. I just wanted to get out there that he is not a DJ. Like that's why this is weird. It would be different if he was a DJ. Like he is simply not a DJ. He
texted me again later, asked what I was up to. This was a few months later. Once again, I get excited. Nope, he actually was just inviting me to another party.
Party boy.
Love you, besties. We will chat with you next week. Our camera's about to die if you're watching on YouTube. This is the YouTube goodbye. But it's late. I don't have time to charge it. But if you want to hear, now we're going to get into the bestie rejections. That will be on Spotify and Apple. But sorry, we will try not to make a habit out of this ever again. It's just, this was a really long episode.
So intense. So yeah, we're going to continue. Come over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Love you.
Love you.
But also really appreciate you for being on YouTube. You're a real one.
Love you. Bye.